SpaceX is prepared to lift off. Its spacecraft went to the moon. Elon Musk, a brilliant futurist, wants to get to Mars before 2030. The Launchpad is the last thing standing in the way of accomplishing this. Why are there fire issues on the Launchpad, and why is SpaceX having trouble resolving them? Join us as we investigate the issue SpaceX is encountering during its launch. Welcome back to another exciting video from Informative Scoop. Today's video is about huge problems for SpaceX's Launchpad static fire tests. Before we start the video, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. The issue is that SpaceX is actively developing the Starship, a new generation of spacecraft that will eventually transport people to Mars, and the moon has been developing for the past few years. Before it can transfer astronauts farther, it must first seize control of Earth's orbit. One of the most important is the Launchpad itself. On SpaceX's launch trajectory, the Starship static fire test typically appears to experience issues. When Super Heavy Rocket 7 or its launch platform unintentionally ignited a cloud of combustible gas at approximately 4:20 p.m. on July 11, the SpaceX rocket testing facility in Boca Chica, Texas, was destroyed by a large explosion. Its 33 Raptor engines, or the majority, were utilized in a flow test that helped create it. When accidentally ignited, the ensuing cloud of uniformly mixed methane and oxygen gas acted like a small fuel air bomb, rapidly igniting, producing a strong explosion and shock wave. The fire also increased after the first explosion to burn as much of the released gas as possible. Then a fireball was produced, rising to 80 to 90 meters. Due to damage, Booster 7 had to fix numerous Raptor engines. The launch tower, which has two chopstick-shaped mechanical arms, was also harmed by the incident. After 6 months, they lift and secure the complete stack of boosters. The largest and most potent launch vehicle ever finished is the result of SpaceX stacking 2 stages of its next-generation Starship rocket for the first time in more than 6 months. After completing repairs, SpaceX is prepared to launch the Starship 24 and Rocket 7 into orbit, where they will probably touch down on the moon. Elon Musk needs to take astronauts to the lunar surface to fulfill his obligation to NASA. Because of this, they are preparing the Starship for takeoff. The Launchpad is the only obstruction to Musk's plans for SpaceX. Ship 24 and Booster 7 look fantastic when stacked on top of one another. In other words, Booster number 7 and Ship number 24 will be piled on top. SpaceX is getting set to launch the spaceship into orbit for the first time now that the rocket has been refueled. Although we are confident in the flight's success, SpaceX must do many tests before launching the Starship 24. Before conducting its first test of the Super Heavy star, several experiments were conducted. Along with the static fire test, Ship 24 had several cryogenic proving experiences, but more significantly, Ship 24 passed numerous static fire tests. Each was a wet test run for the liquid oxygen and methane fuel Booster 7 and had completed many cryogenic proving tests. Given that, it's unlikely that SpaceX was concerned about either prototype's ability to conduct additional tests. Beyond the mechanical demonstration, they should only be concerned about the Launchpad. It was certainly not in doubt that the enormously big rocket could support a partially loaded Starship. The SpaceX orbital test flight pair is still being developed. If something terrible occurs, the same models will be fixed and returned to the launch platform for a relaunch. Both, too. Prime milestone Ship 24 conducted a 6-engine static fire test while Booster 7 accomplished a 33-engine spin. Many Starships are being prepared for impending launches by staff as the launch date approaches. The Starship Florida launch location has undergone substantial construction, but it is almost complete. The orbital launch system was constructed for a test campaign using Ship 24 and Booster 7 simultaneously once connected to Booster 7. Testing of the new power plant. On July 11, it was widely expected that the Booster 7's 33-engine spin prime test would be successful. They tried it, and the fuel-air mixture blew up. After a brief period, a few issues needed to be fixed and the engine cooling system needed to be modified. The methane used to lower the temperature of the Raptor engines is now collected and dumped by the new engine cooling system, albeit not very far from the OLM. The fuel-air mixing issue that gave rise to the blast during the 33-engine spin prime test has so far been successfully avoided thanks to this strategy. SpaceX now has the security to complete at least a portion of the pre-launch testing thanks to this technique. They may only remain at the launch on September 12th, though. A 33-engine spin prime test was performed, and it was conducted just like the test from the previous day. The SpaceX crew typically performs several of these complete engine spin primes before beginning more difficult tests. This is because the information these test results reveal can be used to determine the best course of action. The Cameron County Fire Department extinguished a grass fire that had been started by a 6-engine static fire test on Ship 24 that evening. Part of the task was setting the grass on fire in front of the facility. This method of putting out fires is typical. The business is preparing for an extremely busy launch. Nevertheless, Booster 8 is currently being tested as teams prepare. After the first orbital mission, they want to launch the second one within 30 days. Before the subsequent cryogenic proof test, the vehicle also receives a routine examination, and other systems are assessed. Engineering at SpaceX. Fast construction is taking place at the SpaceX storage ship plant in Florida. The launch tower for store ships is almost finished. Chopsticks. The final piece is now ready to be raised and positioned at Launch Facility 39A. The carriage system for the spacecraft and the QD arm are almost finished and might shortly be moved to the route. This is excellent, because it shows that SpaceX is testing the store ship and the Mechazilla tower and preparing to receive Rocket 7 when it arrives from space. On the other side, the launch complex's tank farms are developing swiftly. Since the subcooler was constructed there, more work is currently being done on the cryogenic LOX tank at LC-39A, located between the launch tower and the main ramp. After much effort, SpaceX plans to set the Starship on the moon by 2023. But Musk and SpaceX will encounter a challenge. The issue is not limited to Launchpad. Musk and SpaceX still have one problem to resolve. The US government will now present a challenge for SpaceX, even if they were to find a solution to the Launchpad issue. Biden needs to wake up and realize that Elon Musk is a valuable asset to the United States, since it still seems to need to acknowledge SpaceX as a company that can assist the US economy in flourishing. The Biden administration should start referring to SpaceX as a massive organization that will one day be adored by everyone on the planet, and bring the United States and the rest of the planet to Mars and beyond. There is, however, a method the US government may recognize SpaceX. That is, if Musk complies with Biden's conditions if he helps Biden with something. These two have a well-known rivalry. Due to his opinions, Musk versus Biden has been one of the most divisive topics on the internet and social media platforms like Twitter. Musk has frequently accused Biden of having a lengthy history of opposing Tesla. Musk offered a free internet connection to Iranian protesters. The US State Department reported that it would take action to assist Iranians with connecting Starlink. Musk immediately turned on SpaceX's satellite internet service. He claimed all it would take was to pay for specific terminals in Iran that could pick up the signals to connect Iranian protesters to the internet. According to Musk, only a limited number have been deployed in the nation lately. There is still a need for more, and the US is attempting to assist. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.